Hi everyone, this is Mary Reed, and I'm very excited to share something with you that came through on Sunday night during my weekly satsang with my community. It's something I've never done before, and I love what happened. It was really profound, it was really effective and very supportive for individuals and the collective. So it's a great joy to be able to share this with you now. But before I do this, I need to give you a little context. First, for those of you who are just finding out about my work, you need to know that I work with a very large collective of divine beings that call themselves consensus. I experience them in a stadium. There are that many of them, and they always say we're just higher and higher and higher aspects of all of us. So the composition, who's in that stadium each time changes depending on who is gathering in the field. The reason they call themselves consensus is because every being in the stadium is unique. Everybody has a unique energetic signature in the exact same way all of us do. But when we come together, we create a kind of harmony, a very intense, amplified harmony, and that's the consensus vibration. So they are the highest note possible in any given moment. That's why they call themselves consensus. The second thing I want to say is I need to give you a little context for why this came about, what I'm getting ready to share here. This year, like most of you, there's been a lot of changes, a lot of amplification going on in my field, a lot of transformation going on in my field. And it was particularly ramped up during a retreat that I did for 5 days in Central Virginia. The incredibly off the charts amplified and sustained energies there. And then 2 weeks later, I went to India for 6 weeks and had a whole series of myriad kinds of upgrades and all kinds of things going on there. Also facilitated a small group retreat there. So the energies have just been like cultivated and amplified and cultivated more and more and more. So when I came back from India, of course, there's a lot of integration now that's been going on, a lot of rearranging of my own field, and that has included a lot of what some people would call the experiences of ego death, which is just the release of things from the small I identity deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper in my field and in my connections to history, multidimensionally speaking. And a couple weeks ago, as I've had these sort of serial dreams and visions and experiences of release of that old I identity, the ego death, a couple of weeks ago, 2 mornings in a row, when I woke up in the morning, I could see inside, like my whole infrastructure, like a mainframe computer, had stopped. And it was very much just like it just ran out. It turned off, basically. And it was done. And I was fully aware that my operating system now can't go through the old mainframe. It just can't. And so 2 mornings in a row, I had that on top of these dreams and visions, etc., about ego death. So I took note of that something in me has stopped. Something in me has completely said, we can't do it this way anymore. The second day that I woke up with that, seeing the mainframe turned off, that afternoon, I had what doctors called a cardiac strain event. I had all the classic signs of a heart attack, the squeezing and the pressure in my heart that went up to my jaws and radiating pain down my left arm, etc. But the whole entire time this was happening, I was receiving this knowing, just relax, it's all okay. Just relax, just relax. So it went on for more than 5 hours. I had this great discomfort for that time and then just felt funny. The next morning when I woke up, I was still feeling a little of that lingering pain and discomfort. So I decided it was time to go to the doctor. Now, I do not normally go to the doctors. I haven't been to a doctor in 9 years. And so I was seen in the clinic and then the hospital and had all these various tests done. So I'm fine. There was a major, obviously, recalibration that went on, just rewiring that went on in me, and now I'm perfectly fine. All of my tests were perfectly fine. Now, I say all that because I'm well aware and I'm functionally aware of everything being different. I operate differently. My field is very different. So, what I transmit is more potent. And the reason it's more potent is because I'm able to sort of transmit more broadly. There's more coming through. So I said in the beginning, I work with my guides' consensus. Now, consensus has always been large. It's always been a big, voluminous kind of field, but now it's more multidimensionally coming through. And so it is this collective presence that I'm working as that came through to guide everyone on Sunday, to do a whole sort of cleaning out and recalibration, an upgrade for all of us collectively. So while this was intended originally for my group, after it was done, it was very clear to me that this is actually very beneficial for anybody who wants to come into the field sort of accompanied by this volume of guides, if you will, to be upgraded, to be part of the purging, the clearing, the recalibration. So that's what you're getting ready to listen to. Now, please do not listen to this while you're out for a walk or that sort of stuff. You need to be very present. I strongly recommend you get a glass of water, you sit down and you just, without distraction, stay very present through this experience. It's extremely powerful. And at the end of it, if you feel like you need more personalized support for going through the kind of process that we're going to go through in this video, you can go to my website and schedule a personal consultation if you'd like. But this is for everyone. Okay, it will meet you right where you're at. It doesn't matter that you weren't at the live session. Okay, so I offer this with great love, with great trust, with great excitement. I love you, and our time together will be of benefit to all beings. We're going to do a nice, good, deep cleaning here tonight, clarifying, strengthening, sort of a rebalancing here. And it does not matter if you join live or watch the recording later. The field is going to know what's the right thing for everyone whenever they watch it. So we do, of course, have an amplified field when we're here together, but whenever anybody watches this, it will meet everybody right where you are. The reason I want to do this, the reason I was guided to do this is because my field has changed so much. There's just, like, I literally can't keep up. There's just so much coming every day now, and even sometimes several times a day. So much that I can't even articulate, like, as I'm going. It's just so ongoing. And many of you are having the same kinds of like big things happening, so many big things happening in consultations now. It's literally to the point where perpetually in these consultations, whether people are part of the community or not, it's almost like you can just touch the field and then things just open up, touch the field and then things just open up. And part of the reason is I'm present in a much larger, more potent kind of field, but just collectively there's more availability. And, we've been working our way up to this for quite some time. So we are recalibrating everything, the collective connection. We're clarifying here and bringing us all kind of up to speed and balancing and just overall well-being. Now we're going to supplement this in a few weeks with our beloved Teresa Cohen coming back and doing a collective, a group biofield tuning to further support us. So, we're just monitoring where we are and supporting ourselves and the group accordingly as we go along. All right, I want to remind you that during this time, and particularly after this session here, we're doing a lot of opening up, a lot of moving around, a lot of alchemizing in the field. So the care for you and your field doesn't just stop at the end of this session. This is an open door to really keep things moving in the way that flows. We can facilitate the flow that's in your highest interest and pulling you into your greater potential and our greatest interest and potential. So after this session, continue to listen to the internal guidance of what you need. More rest, more water or fresh fruits or whatever you're putting into your body, more exercise or less exercise or whatever, just listen to it. And if you need further support, like from other practitioners, that sort of stuff. So stay tuned to what you feel like you need to continue the support, to continue the sort of self-care here and the field care, because you're always connected to the field. You're always walking you're an integral part of our field. So you're always walking with this, and you're always, of course, integral to the collective as well. So pay attention to what you need. And as you're sort of tuning into that, the right resources will make themselves known. And don't forget that consensus is always a resource as well. Okay, they're not just our guides. They are our connection to the integrity of that higher state of being. Okay? So you can always call on them. You can always be in their presence. All right. Let me see if there's anything more I want to say. We're essentially going to do what I do in consultations. So we're going to go in. I'm literally going to connect with the whole field and read it. And then consensus is going to guide us on where we breathe. Now, if you haven't had a consultation with me, when we come into a unitive piece and I start reading the field, information shows up in my body. And so I'll direct us to breathe through different areas of my body. Now, just because I'm feeling something in a particular place does not necessarily mean you're going to feel it in the same place. It's just where the information is showing up for me. But as we breathe through there, we're moving that wherever it is occurring within your field. Okay, so you don't need to look for correlating feelings. You may have correlating feelings or sensations. But the point is, we're really just coming in and unblocking, releasing, untangling, opening up things that are ready, and then we're allowing in that which is available to us then as we release those old things. And we're just sort of undoing all of the old obsolete frameworks and allowing things to expand and deepen. Make sense? We're doing it in a very deep, amplified way. This is an immediate, direct impact. Okay. And then after we get to a certain stage in that, consensus is going to invite us to scooch in among them in the stadium. And we'll just see what they have us do. They may just have us hold in union there so we can hold the amplified field open and allow continued mobilization of everything we set in motion. Yeah, it's very basic. We're literally going to do a group consultation, essentially. And I'm very excited about this. I'm very excited. All right. I love you all so very much. I don't take a moment of our collaboration for granted. We go on this journey together. There's no other way to do it but in union with others, right? And what a precious journey we get to be on and doing this intentionally, with mindfulness, with awareness, with gratitude as we go along. So I thank each and every one of you. I thank you for being here, for your willingness, for your contribution here, for what you bring, for what you amplify, not just in this field, but in my life. So I'm grateful for all of you. All right, beloveds, let's do this. Now, the first thing we want to do is say a word here to our mind, individually and collectively. There's absolutely nothing whatsoever to think about, to remember, to do, to analyze as we go through this process. We are in direct service to our precious mind in this process. Our mind is the thing that holds all of our various entanglements, our pain, our memories, our old conditioning, the separation ideologies, and the sadness and pain that we carry in that separation belief. Our mind is constantly striving to take care of us, to make sure that we're okay. It's, of course, very fear-based, and that's all that fear is doing. It's trying its best to take care of us in the only way that it knows how. So we've built all of these impulses and mechanisms to try to take care of us in a separation consciousness that can never meet what we most deeply desire, which is union with love, union with our own nature, our own truth, because it's operating in the belief that we're separate from that, and we're not. So in this experience, first and foremost, we are in service to our precious mind to give it a beautiful, well-deserved rest. Our mind doesn't have to go away, but it absolutely doesn't have to be alert for any part of this. It can simply, with full permission, snuggle up and take a nap. So the whole experience that we're doing here is feeling. We're dropping down into our feeling. We're dropping into attunement with all of the field, with all of the higher states that we are, our multidimensional higher state of being. So we're letting go of all of the resistance to that. As we let our mind rest, as we let our energy become that which is the awareness, that which is conveying what we are aware of. Take a nice, good deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just follow that breath down and through the field, through your body, beyond your body, letting that movement help to open everything up, not through force, but through the absence of any force. So what we're doing here is allowing ourselves to simply open up into our deepest natural state, where we're not holding any tensions, we're not resisting, we're not anticipating or expecting. We're coming into the true state of simple being. Take another good deep breath in. And a beautiful, relaxing breath out. We're letting our awareness drop further and further into the subtle spaces, just aware of what we're feeling. We don't need to feel anything in particular. Whatever we feel, we feel. It is whatever it is. It's that simple. We may feel the energy coursing at various places in our body. We may feel the absence of any body. We may feel it deep or expansive. Whatever we feel, it is as it is. We're not analyzing it. We're not telling a story about it. We're not needing anything from it. Take another good deep breath in. And a beautiful, relaxing breath out. Now, immediately, what we feel here in the field is like a structural fatigue. And by this, we mean there are aspects of our being where we're trying to hold it together, trying to make it through. And part of that is held in place by our idea that that's an achievement through these times. Hold it together enough to be okay. But that holding together is literally an internal tension. And we can specifically feel it down the back of the head and the neck and the shoulders, where we would traditionally carry our stresses. Now, we don't have to do anything with this knowing. The energy itself knows exactly what to do. Our only role here is getting out of the way. Yielding. We're saying yes to the relaxation of this, to the relief of this internal tension, relief of the very idea that we have to hold it together. We don't. What are we holding together? What's happening is happening. So when we release any idea that we're holding it together, what we're surrendering into is trust. Trust in the higher potential, the higher outcomes, the higher flow, the higher states that we can be lifted into. Notice we said lifted into. You don't have to do it. There's no effort here. This is what happens in the absence of the effort. All we're going to do here is focus very simply on that little triangle area, the neck, the shoulders, the mid-back. We're just going to rest our awareness there. We can actually feel some sadness in here. And we're going to take a nice, good, deep breath in through that whole area there. And breathe it right back out. You imagine it's a little like aerating this to relieve some of this internal built-up pressure. But it's a false kind of pressure, a little like inflating a balloon. The natural state of the balloon is not inflated. Yeah, now we can feel a lot in here in the release of little subtle, perhaps unconscious or subconscious stories that we're telling ourselves about all that's underway and the nervousness that we feel about trying to maintain our okayness through all of this. So there's a little of that voice, that dialogue that's going on in the field here. It's just kind of a background whisper about what about, or I wonder if, or how can I, or when should I, or what does this mean, or that kind of energy. It's a little like a chronic alert, staying alert. Again, just part of the energies that are holding our structure together in a state of tension. Now, this isn't intense. It's not significant. It's just enough to hold tensions in the field, which can translate into tensions in our being. So let's do this again. Focus on that whole area, the neck, the shoulders, and down to the mid-back. Take a nice, good deep breath in there. And a relaxing breath out. Now we want to convey a feeling here. And we invite you to attune to the feeling of, oh, the surrender feels so good. Now, the surrender that we speak of is any idea of effort. We just surrender all effort and any beliefs that hold that effort in place. The surrender feels so good. Now remember, you are in and participating within a collective field here. So when we say, this surrender feels so good, we're echoing through all fields here, communicating the relief, the permission. Now watch the subtle changes in your own field as we talk about these things, as we convey this, as we transmit this healing energy here, this transforming energy. And we'll take it even further. This surrendering as part of service to our field feels so good. It feels so aligned with our intention to be a presence of love, catalyzing our highest potential. Oh, it feels so good to be able to and willing to surrender so deeply into the field. Into ever deeper union. Notice what's happening in your field now. In our field now. Let's do this again. Focus again on the neck, the shoulders, the back. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, oh, this feels so good to be amplifying the opening, the availability, the strength in our union. Now we're going to go to the left side of the neck here. We're going to rest our focus there in the left side of the neck and simply take a nice good deep breath in right there. And relax. Now we're going to drop down to the third chakra around the solar plexus. And we're going to focus in particular on the right side of the solar plexus. You might imagine the right edge of it. Without any stories, without any expectation or effort. Simply rest your focus there and breathe in through that spot. And a good breath out. Yep. Now, there's a very particular thing releasing here, and it's actually quite deeply anchored. And this is, we will speak in terms of the patriarchal lineage, all the conditioning that's been anchored in place generations and generations and generations and generations and generations, not just human generations, but system generations, multidimensionally here. So what is happening here in this very moment is it's a little like reaching deep down into the roots after a really good drenching rain, where the roots just come up so easily. Now, these are old, in many ways, unrecognized patterns. In other words, things that are at play in the infrastructure of our world, but still have an operational impact on our lives. This is everything from government and education and religion to family dynamics and relational dynamics and the stories that we take in and what we believe of these stories and all of these sorts of things, the ways that this old lineage maintains an operational presence in our lives that no longer serves now. We are all inherently tied to all of these various lineages, the tendrils of the history that are interwoven in our life experience and in this very field. So as we are now aiming to, intending to foster the readiness of our field for where we are and what we're capable of now, these roots no longer serve, individually or collectively. And we will say the lifting of these patterns is happening extraordinarily easily. As we have been speaking, there has just been a very easy lifting and dissolving. So let's focus once again on the right side of the third chakra. Take a nice, good deep breath in. Excellent. And a beautiful breath out. Now we can still feel things sort of tightening in various places as there is a new inner relationship going on with a lot of different patterns operating in different flow here, and a lot of higher energies now participating in the field. As we release and we open up, we make ourselves available to much higher participation. We're lifted into greater spaciousness, higher frequency, more subtle interweaving. So we can feel this recalibration going on throughout the field, in particular, right in the areas where some of the old tensions were, especially in the neck area. We're called to the heart now. And we're actually called a little bit in front of the heart chakra. Might imagine right in front of the physical form, but we're here in the field. So we're just envisioning the space in front of our heart in quite a wide diameter, about the size of a grapefruit. Now, what we feel here is residual sadness. This is like a residual grief that still lingers. In the human experience, the grief of separation, the grief inherent in separation always lingers. It's always present. It's related to the yearning carried in the human experience for deep, deep, authentic, profound return to our true self. Not just to the embrace of love, but the experience of being love. So focus on that precious area above and within the heart chakra. Take a beautiful deep breath in here. And a big breath out. Now, there's a very clear communication here, and it is a very strong encouragement to listen to the communication of your heart. This has been sort of a trite, cliche guidance in the past, but now it holds much more availability, clarity, and insistence, because there's a readiness for this, a capacity that we have now. And it's a little like this communication is now really, really strengthening in its radiance, its signal, if you will, its tone, so that we can tune in more easily. So the guidance here, as we're doing it in this very moment, but certainly afterwards, is to listen, tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in to your heart center, to all around the heart center, and listen without an expectation, without asking questions, without guiding the conversation. Be available to all that is moving through and up from your heart. This is a direct connection to higher knowing, knowing. Being able to discern so easily guidance, direction, understanding, perspective. Focus again on this beautiful portal here, above and within the heart. And a big breath in. A relaxed breath out. Now, every time that we gather, we are in essence the heart of the universe speaking. We are speaking from the purity of that essence of God, the essence of divine love, not just the words, the energy with which we speak, the transmission being conveyed each time. Now, what you feel when we speak, what you feel when we gather, even in the spaces between our words, is communication. You have the capacity to open up and tune in to this at any time. You do not necessarily need us to be the intermediary. While we can assist and accompany and in many ways interbraid everybody into this attunement, into this capability and remembrance, you actually are coming more and more and more. We are guiding you more and more and more into your own innate ability to do this, to stay connected, to stay able to speak from your essence, the same exact essence. Now, previously, there's been great mistrust of this because it is the small self-identity trying to feel like it's that talking. We are all at the stage now where there's enough of a yield of the small self-identity to really feel authentically into truth, the being of this, the conveyance of this, the communication ongoing, always, 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 always within this. So as we amplify the connectivity within this field, we are also amplifying your own innate capabilities to tap into this now, to be centered through this. Now, this is not just communication with others. This most importantly is self-communication. What is communicating to all aspects of your being? What is calling in the threads of thought? Where are those thoughts sourced? Now, the beauty of this, as with all of this, is that it requires no effort. It requires no strategy. It is the absence of effort, the absence of strategy, the absence of trying to get there, trying to do it. There's no trying. This is your natural state. When all the effort falls away, there's this. When all the noise of the mind, of the world, quiets, there's this. There's the space of the essence communicating. Feel once again into this beautiful portal above and within the heart chakra. Take a nice, big, glorious breath in. And a beautiful breath out. Fantastic. Now, as we have been addressing this particular movement here, there's been tremendous easing up within the field in all directions. Yes, there's a lot more movement and openness. We can feel a great multidimensionality here and clarity within that. Now we're going to do one more breath again here with above and within the heart chakra. And this time when we breathe out, we're going to radiate it out brilliantly into this collective field. Big breath in, please, through the heart. And radiate it out here into our gorgeous field. And then simply bask here. Now, as we are basking, we are actually holding the entire field wide open, allowing for the greatest, deepest, most expansive flow here with ease. And we can feel in this field, it's like old imprints of efforts to think. We can literally feel tension around the brain. But these are old imprints. And what we say here is the work that we do now, what you are all coming into, what we are coming into in our day-to-day presence, is that the old thinking impulses we realize are falling away. That we just feel less default, mindless default to think, or impulse to think, rather. So we just find ourselves becoming more quiet. The thoughts that do arise, we recognize they have a different texture. They have a different weight or lightness, if you will. They have a different impact. They feel nurturing. Please feel what we just said. This is a good example. We recognize that our thoughts begin to feel nurturing. Here again, thoughts about others, thoughts about ourselves, thoughts about situations, about the world, about existence, about being. And that feeling of nurturance continues in the spaces between the thoughts, in the quietude. That there's just this perpetual sense of feeling nurtured. The field perpetually nourishing us. And thereby us being a perpetual presence of nurturing for others. Notice how this feels. Now, one more time, a big breath in through the heart, please. A glorious breath out. And as we find ourselves once again in this radiant, amplified state, here it is our great joy to invite all of us into the stadium. We love gathering in the stadium. And when we invite you into the stadium, our glorious luminous light amplifies tremendously. It's all cranked up beautifully. We are immensely blessed by our union. Take a nice, good deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just find yourself sinking into the stadium, any seat, any space, including all seats, all spaces, including the stage, including the field, wherever, however you unite in the stadium with all of us. Welcome, 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 welcome. Scooch in. Absorb in however it feels right for you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Notice the shifts in our collective field here. Now we will tell you from this vantage point There is an enormous multi-dimensional luminosity, and it just keeps getting higher and higher and higher here. And we're feeling it throughout all of the energy centers that we would traditionally think of the energy centers in the body field, but in particular, it's like an echo that grows, not fades. Now feel into what we just said. A multidimensional echo that grows as it radiates, not fades. Now, as you feel that, you understand that is our contribution to the collective in this moment. We speed the momentum up when we gather in such a way, when we amplify with such intention, when we are lifted into what seeks to flow most naturally. And right now, the echo of awakening is exactly what seeks to flow most naturally, most loudly, most impactfully. We invite you in our companionship at this time to lean into the sense of belonging here, of our divine collaboration here. Lean into your neighbors. Lean into the whole. Let every speck feel this light, this love, this exquisite, intimate union. Now, what is happening as a result of the way we have invited this feeling is that in this process, there is the release of all that no longer expresses from the separation consciousness. The debris of separation patterns in the field. It's like we've squeezed the sponge. And this is the last of the debris here in this field at this time, being released. What a beautiful field to be released into. The perfect embrace. Feel your breath in unison with the breath of all in this field. As one moves, all of it moves. The divine breathing. Now, we will invite you again to lean into the companionship here of your neighbors, of the whole stadium, of anyone you may have met here. And feeling all of this union, this loving reunion, tuning into that love. Breathe it all in. Big breath in. And just let it soak into every speck of you. Once again, feeling it like nurturing, the most exquisite, pure nurturing of your very being, of our being. Now, when we do our next full body breath in here, as we breathe out, we're going to feel that exhale as the most beautiful clarifying, that the movement of the breath, as it profuses through our entire being, is clarifying all to our greatest capacity, our greatest potential at this time. Take a full body breath in, breathe it in everywhere. And as you breathe out, just feel all of that movement of the breath clarifying everything in this field. Now, we encourage you in this moment, as we guided earlier, to tune into the heart and listen to how the heart, not the mind, how the heart seeks to convey gratitude for our participation here together, for our intention, our mutual intention, for our willingness, for all that we're making possible here, for the way that love is serving in this moment, how the heart seeks to convey that gratitude in your own way, feeling into what you can discern of how that gratitude is conveyed. Take a good deep breath in and feel your heart conveying that gratitude. Now, really taking in how all of your field, how all of our field feels. Feeling in the depths and the outer reaches, everywhere. How relaxed, how expansive, how connected, how at ease. There may be other things that you notice, spots here and there that may have tension still, that may be particularly open and luminous, how energies are flowing, some strong, some light, some whispering, some rushing. All present in perfection, flowing in the way that is in your highest interest, in our highest interest in this moment, all flowing as a contribution in love, for love, in the collective. Now, staying tuned to what you can feel of the qualities and the state of this field. Begin to touch your fingers to your thumbs very slowly. Being aware to not let your mind jump in and start narrating or analyzing or asking questions. You can put your palms together, rub them in circles, staying in the feeling. Very slowly begin to stretch. Become aware of yourself in the chair, in the room where you are. Still feeling the field. Very slowly, when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. I see some of you drinking water. Well done. I recommend that everybody take a sip. Notice how that water feels in the body, staying connected to the field, the relaxation. Now, I want to say a little bit about this. Anytime that we do work like this in the field, where we go in really deeply, we're working at the unconscious, the subconscious levels. We're not working at the surface. This is not about the things that are sitting in the surface of our awareness. This is beyond our usual day-to-day conscious awareness. We're deep in the energetic state of us. When we do this kind of thing, we're really opening a lot of deep patterns that will begin to reshape our awareness bit by bit by bit by bit by bit until it comes up in our manifest conscious awareness. So the changes through that process are often just gradual, subtle, and then they just get more and then more and more until we're acclimated to just simply different way of feeling, different way of being, a different way of understanding ourselves, feeling like we're just walking through life differently. Again, the old impulses fall away. We begin to walk feeling much larger, much more centered, much more grounded, much more aware, in some ways more wise. Now, key to this particular experience was very specific about really turning on our ability to speak through the heart, to discern from the heart, to relate through the heart. For this to be front and center as our communication headquarters, not from up here, that's the old, but genuinely, not in a trite cliche way, but to be tuned in and communicating, receiving and giving through the heart. Now, what happens in that, and I speak from experience here, is that we begin to have a different way of speaking. Our pace changes, our language changes, our frameworks change. Whether we even need to speak changes. Now, again, we're not just talking about talking to others. This is also, and importantly, very much about internal communication. This is sort of the epitome of the reorientation. Because when we think about, even using Paul Selig's words, I am word, that word is the flow or the action of the creator. That's the communication. We're coming right into the source of all of this. Being aligned with and as this, so that this is what is now aware as us. Now, I'm speaking about this to the individuals, but we did this work for our field. Collectively, operationally now, structurally now, more of us present, centered in the heart. So what does that do? That amplifies our communication. It amplifies our connection. It amplifies our radiance. It amplifies our impact, individually and collectively for the collective. Make sense? So this whole thing is just intended to catch us up to where we are in our capacity, to be able to now take in more, take in where the collective is now, where we are all now. Now, for some of us, it'll take a little catching up to do. We may need more rest. We may need to have some things within us get triggered as a final expression, a final release. Okay. Now, oftentimes that happens in dreams, but sometimes we need somebody in our waking life to trigger something. So in the next few days and weeks, don't worry about weird dreams. Don't worry about some weird thing that triggered you in a supermarket or a thought that somehow came out of the blue. You don't need to hold it in the field and tell stories about it. It's all releasing, it's all processing through, it's all expressing out. Okay, this too. This too. Now, I want to tell you from experience, some of you are already experiencing this, but what is now opening deeply here are sometimes doors that have been closed for a long time to memories in our past. So you may very well have some, not necessarily repressed memories release, but just things that you have not thought about, even complete eras of your life that you have not thought about, and perhaps from other lives as well that release. We're releasing very deep things here. So I tell you, be open to anything. Be open to anything. 3 days ago, I suddenly, I think it was late at night, in a meditative state, just had literally a door open in my heart, and a whole era of my life at age 18 and back several years there just came flooding through. I hadn't thought about it. And I relived, it was like a life review, feeling all of that horrible angst and shame and the pain and the despair and confusion and all of that kind of stuff. And it literally, it felt like a vault. That's exactly what it was. It felt like a vault that opened and it all just popped out. And then I just had this life review of that little era. So it was just something that was ready to release. Remember, I had a big recalibration, heart issue, right? And it just unlocked and out it came. And it was stunning. It was difficult. It was shocking. And at the same time, I was perfectly aware this is just something that's passing out now. And like, wow, that was amazing. So anything is possible. Nobody is going to have the identical kinds of experiences. Makes sense? Everybody feel supported? All right, now, as things evolve, feel free to email me if you need additional support. But again, pay attention to any other kind of resources that you may need to call into your field for support, biofield tuning, massage, walks, different foods, more water, that sort of thing. Listen to your internal guidance. You do want to drink a lot more water right now because we're going to flush through a lot of the debris that just sort of cleared out here. Okay, we were doing a lot of clearing here today. All right, I want to reiterate again, if anybody needs any additional support, really feel into right here, what would I need, what would be helpful, what feels good today, and this isn't necessarily just service, but maybe it's a walk, maybe it's a joyful reading of a poetry book or something like that. So really tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in. This is the time to tune in. Okay? I love you all so much. I'll see many of you on Wednesday, and our time together will be of benefit to all beings. Namaste, namaste. Bye.